Hi, I'm Wilder. I work in medical research administration, managing clinical trial documentation. Not the most glamorous job, but it pays well and it's stable. Or at least it was stable enough to put my wife through medical school. Ex-wife, I should say. That's still weird to say after 3 years. Wilder, you're doing that thing again, Marcus said, snapping his fingers in front of my face. We were sitting at our usual lunch spot, a deli 2 blocks from the hospital where I worked. What thing? The staring into space thing. You've been doing it more lately. Marcus had been my best friend since college, the kind of guy who could read me like a book. Just thinking about Sarah, I admitted. Man, you need to let that go. It's been 3 years. I know. It's just, yesterday was the anniversary. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Anniversary of what? The day she got her medical license, the day she filed for divorce. Same day? Same day, I confirmed. I came home with flowers and champagne, found the papers on the kitchen table. Marcus shook his head slowly. That's cold, man, really cold. Want to know the best part? She'd already moved her stuff out, had it all planned. You supported her through 8 years of medical school and residency. You worked extra hours, took out loans. Doesn't matter now. I cut him off. She made her choice. My phone buzzed. It was Rebecca, a nurse I'd become friends with at the hospital. The message read, "Need to talk. It's about Sarah. Important." I showed Marcus the text. "What do you think that's about?" he asked. "No idea. Rebecca usually doesn't reach out unless it's serious." We finished lunch quickly, and I headed back to the hospital. Rebecca was waiting in the research wing, pacing nervously. "Hey, what's going on?" I asked. She glanced around, then pulled me into an empty conference room. "Wilder, I don't know how to say this, but Sarah's in trouble. Big trouble." "What kind of trouble?" "There's an investigation. A patient died 3 months ago, and the family filed a complaint. The hospital's ethics board is looking into it, and it's not looking good for her." My stomach tightened. "Why are you telling me this?" Rebecca bit her lip. "Because Dr. Chen is leading the investigation, and your name came up." "My name? Why would—" "The clinical trial, the one Sarah enrolled her patient in without proper documentation. You managed that trial's paperwork 2 years ago." The memory hit me like a truck. Sarah had called me 6 months after the divorce, asking about fast-tracking a patient into one of our experimental trials. I'd explained the proper channels, the documentation required. She'd thanked me and hung up. "Rebecca, I gave her the correct procedure. I told her exactly what paperwork was needed." "I know, but—" Rebecca pulled out her phone, showing me an email thread. "She's been telling people you approved the enrollment verbally, that you told her she could skip some of the documentation." I felt my blood pressure rising. "That's a complete lie. I have records of our conversation. I specifically told her—" "I believe you, Wilder. That's why I'm here. Dr. Chen is meeting with Sarah tomorrow morning, and I thought you should know." "Does Dr. Chen know about our history?" "Not that I'm aware of." I ran my hand through my hair. "This is unbelievable. She's trying to throw me under the bus to save her career." "There's more," Rebecca said quietly. "I overheard her talking to one of the other doctors. She said, and I quote, 'Wilder still has feelings for me. He'll back up whatever I say.'" The words stung more than I wanted to admit. "She actually said that? I'm sorry, Wilder. I thought you needed to know what you're up against." The next morning, I arrived at Dr. Helen Chen's office 30 minutes early. She was already there, reviewing files. "Wilder, come in," she said, looking up. "I wasn't expecting you until our 10 o'clock meeting." I heard about the investigation into Dr. Sarah Mitchell. Dr. Chen's expression remained neutral. "I can't discuss ongoing investigations with staff members who aren't directly involved. But I am involved. My name has been mentioned." She set down her pen. "Sit down, Wilder. Tell me your side." I pulled out my laptop and opened my email archives. 2 years ago, Sarah contacted me about enrolling a patient in clinical trial BR 447. I sent her this email. I turned the screen toward her. As you can see, I outlined every single documentation requirement. I also have the phone log showing a 15-minute call where I verbally walked her through the process. Dr. Chen read carefully. "This is very thorough. Did she ever confirm she completed these steps?" "No, I never heard back from her about it. I assumed she either followed through or decided not to enroll the patient." "But she did enroll the patient," Dr. Chen said, "without completing half of these requirements. The patient died from complications that might have been prevented if we'd had their complete medical history." "That's horrible, but I gave her clear instructions." "Dr. Mitchell claims you told her the documentation could be handled retroactively. that you gave her verbal approval to proceed. That's completely false. I would never say that. It violates every protocol we have. Dr. Chen studied me for a long moment. You were married to Dr. Mitchell, weren't you? Yes, we divorced 3 years ago. And the divorce was amicable? I laughed bitterly. She filed the paperwork the same day she got her medical license. I came home to an empty house and divorce papers on the table. So no, not exactly amicable. Dr. Chen's expression softened slightly. I see. That provides important context. My office phone rang later that afternoon. It was Marcus. Turn on the news, Channel 5, now. I pulled up the live stream. A reporter stood outside the hospital. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a physician at Metropolitan General, is under investigation following the death of a patient. Sources say the investigation involves improper enrollment in an experimental clinical trial. Dr. Mitchell could not be reached for comment, but hospital officials confirm an internal review is ongoing. My phone buzzed. It was Sarah. I let it go to voicemail. Then she called again and again. Finally, I answered. What do you want, Sarah? Wilder, thank God. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Please, just hear me out. I made a mistake with that patient, and you need me to lie for you. There was a pause. I need you to remember our conversation differently. Remember it differently? Sarah, I have emails, I have phone records, I documented everything. But you loved me once, doesn't that count for something? You filed for divorce the day you didn't need me anymore. Don't talk to me about love. I was confused back then. I was stressed. Medical school was, stop, just stop. You used me for 8 years. You let me work extra jobs, take out loans, sacrifice my own career advancement, all while you knew you were going to leave the second you had your license. That's not true. Then why did you have everything packed and ready to go? Why were the papers already filed? She was crying now. I can explain. I don't want your explanations. You're trying to destroy my career to save yours. That's all I need to know. Wilder, please. They're going to revoke my license. I'll lose everything. You should have thought about that before you enrolled a patient without proper documentation. You should have thought about that before you tried to frame me for your mistakes. I never meant to. Goodbye, Sarah. I hung up. Marcus called immediately. You okay, man? Getting there. Dr. Chen wants to meet with both of us tomorrow. She's bringing in the hospital's legal team. Whatever you need, I'm there. Thanks, Marcus. I mean it. The conference room was packed. Dr. Chen sat at the head of the table, flanked by 2 attorneys from the hospital's legal department. Rebecca was there too, looking nervous, and Sarah sitting across from me, her eyes red from crying. Let's begin, Dr. Chen said. Dr. Mitchell, you've claimed that Mr. Wilder gave you verbal approval to bypass standard documentation procedures for clinical trial BR 447. Is that correct? Yes, Sarah said quietly. He told me we could handle the paperwork later. That's a lie, I said calmly. I have written records proving otherwise. One of the attorneys, a sharp-looking woman named Miss Patterson, spoke up. Mr. Wilder has provided us with extensive documentation, email exchanges, phone logs, and protocol guidelines that directly contradict your statement, Dr. Mitchell. Sarah's hands trembled. He's trying to protect himself. We were married. He knew I was overwhelmed. He cut corners for me. I have never cut corners on a clinical trial in my entire career, I said, my voice hardening. Not for you, not for anyone. Rebecca, Dr. Chen turned to the nurse. You indicated you had relevant information. Rebecca nodded. I overheard Dr. Mitchell telling Dr. Phillips that Wilder would back up whatever she said because he still had feelings for her. She said she could manipulate the situation. Sarah's face went pale. That's not, You didn't mean what? I leaned forward. You didn't mean to manipulate me? You didn't mean to lie about what I told you? You didn't mean to put a patient's life at risk? I was trying to help that patient. By skipping safety protocols, by ignoring their medical history, that patient died because you were too arrogant to follow the rules. Don't you dare blame me for that death. Sarah stood up, her chair scraping loudly. You have no idea what it's like out there. The pressure, the impossible decisions. I know exactly what it's like, I said, standing to face her. I watched you go through medical school. I supported you every single day. And you threw it all away the second you didn't need me anymore. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry about the divorce. I'm sorry about everything. Can't we just... No, Sarah, we can't. You don't get to apologize your way out of this. You don't get to use our past to manipulate me into destroying my career for yours. Wilder, please. I gave you clear, documented instructions. You ignored them. A patient died. And now you want me to take the fall for your mistake? Miss Patterson interjected. Dr. Mitchell, we've reviewed all the evidence. Your claim that Mr. Wilder approved improper procedures is demonstrably false. We're moving forward with disciplinary action. Sarah turned to me, desperation in her eyes. Wilder, if you'd just tell them that maybe you weren't clear. I was crystal clear, and you knew it. They're going to take my license, everything I worked for. Everything we worked for, I corrected. And you threw it away when you divorced me. You made your choice. She suddenly grabbed my arm. You owe me. I gave you the best years of my life, I pulled away. You used me. There's a difference. Mr. Wilder, Dr. Chen said firmly, please step back. But Sarah wasn't done. She shoved me hard in the chest. You're doing this because I left you. You're just a bitter, pathetic. She raised her hand to slap me, but Marcus, who'd been standing near the door, caught her wrist. That's enough, he said firmly. Security was called. Sarah screamed at me as they escorted her out. You'll regret this. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. This isn't over. The room fell silent after she left. Dr. Chen spoke first. Mr. Wilder, are you all right? I'm fine. We'll need to document this incident. Her behavior was, unacceptable. 2 weeks later, I sat in Miss Patterson's office as she explained the outcome. The hospital ethics board has completed their investigation, she said. Dr. Mitchell's medical license has been suspended pending a full review by the state medical board. She's also facing a civil lawsuit from the patient's family. What about the assault? Marcus asked. He'd insisted on coming with me. We filed a report with the police. Given the multiple witnesses, including Dr. Chen, there's sufficient evidence to press charges if Mr. Wilder wishes to proceed. I nodded slowly. I want to proceed. She needs to understand that actions have consequences. Understood. We'll support you fully. My phone buzzed. Another message from Sarah. Can we please talk? I know I messed up, but we can fix this. I still care about you. I showed it to Miss Patterson. She's been sending these every day. That's harassment. Document everything. Marcus leaned over. You going to respond? Yeah, I said, typing quickly. Sarah, stop contacting me. What happened is over. You made your choices and now you're facing the consequences. I will not help you. I will not forgive you. We are done permanently. Any further contact will be reported to the authorities. I hit send. 2 months later, I sat with Rebecca at the hospital cafeteria. The news had just broken. Sarah's license had been permanently revoked. The state medical board had found multiple instances of protocol violations beyond the case that had started the investigation. How do you feel? Rebecca asked. Honestly, relieved. I spent 3 years wondering if I was wrong to feel betrayed, wondering if I should have just moved on and let it go. You weren't wrong. What she did to you was cruel. What she did to that patient was negligent. Marcus joined us, sliding into the booth. You hear the latest? She tried to get a job at that clinic across town. They Googled her name and found all the news articles. I'm not celebrating someone's downfall, I said carefully, but I'm not losing sleep over it either. You shouldn't, Rebecca said. You told the truth. She faced consequences for her own actions. Exactly, Marcus agreed. You didn't ruin her career. She did that herself. My phone buzzed one last time. Sarah's mother. I'd always gotten along with her during the marriage. Wilder, please call me. Sarah needs help. She made mistakes, but she's family. Can't you find it in your heart to forgive her, to help her get back on her feet? I showed it to Marcus and Rebecca. What are you going to say? Rebecca asked. I typed carefully. Mrs. Mitchell, I'm sorry Sarah is struggling, but I cannot and will not help her. She made deliberate choices that endangered a patient's life and attempted to destroy my career to cover her mistakes. I wish her well, but we will never have any kind of relationship again. Please don't contact me anymore. I sent it and blocked the number. That's that, I said. You did the right thing, Marcus said firmly. I know. For the first time in 3 years, I actually believed that. Rebecca smiled. So what now? What's next for Wilder? I thought about it. I got offered a promotion. Senior Clinical Research Director. I was hesitant because it means more responsibility, more visibility. And now? Marcus prompted. Now I'm taking it. I spent 8 years making myself smaller so Sarah could shine. I'm done with that. We raised our coffee cups in a toast. To moving forward, Rebecca said. To knowing your worth, Marcus added. To never looking back, I finished. What would you do if someone you sacrificed everything for betrayed you the moment they didn't need you anymore? Would you help them or would you let them face the consequences? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more true stories.